This one seems so basic, and I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but here's 1,000,001. Don't use any screens before bed. Hello, my love. Welcome back to Arouse for another episode. If you're new around here, welcome. I am Sam, your host and personal life coach for today. Today's episode is 17 healthy habits to start right now. So let's get into all the tea. Warning, the following presentation is intended for mature audiences. It includes stigma topics like sex, addictions, mental illness, adult dialogue, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. These 17 healthy habits to start right now comes from miss-mental.com. Go over there and follow all of their social accounts or see what's happening on their website. But this is where I got this information from. So if you want to head over there and see what other awesome stuff they have over there, head over there. I'm going to dive into the first thing, which is use a planner. Now, depending what kind of person that you are, maybe you like your digital calendar on your Google Calendar, your Apple Calendar, whatever the Android version is. I'm obviously an Apple person, so I'm like, I don't know what that is. Do you, boo-boo? Or maybe you like a mix of paper and digital, or maybe you just like having a paper planner. I like having a mix of both. I have calendars absolutely everywhere, whether they're on a whiteboard, a physical calendar that I hang on my wall and I cross it off with a pen. I have one on my desk as well. And I love using my Google Calendar to make sure that appointments and meetings are in there so I don't miss anything. But major events normally go on my paper calendars and in my digital calendar as well. Number 2 is plan your meals for the week. I cannot tell you how much stress relief this has given me when you actually meal plan. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It also doesn't have to be terribly bland. If the only thing that you've ever heard about meal planning is from bodybuilders or physique bodybuilders where they're like, I eat plain chicken and rice and broccoli all the time, that's different. They're using that for building muscle and they have to be very lean in what they eat. Not saying that every bodybuilder just eats that, but it's very common that a lot of them eat that mix of food. There are so many awesome meal prep or just recipes in general on Pinterest that you can get for free. And there's lots of even great videos on there as well. I mean, TikTok is also an incredible resource for that too. If you just search in the search bar for like healthy recipes or whatever other niche you're looking for, like vegetarian or vegan or whatever, anything. Number 3 is make a daily gratitude list. I love this one. I literally have 3 notebooks going for gratitude because I thought I lost one and then I thought I lost another one. So I kept restarting gratitude journals, or I bought a new one. I'm like, oh, this one's pretty. And you can never really have enough gratitude in your life. It helps boost so many good things in your life, especially your happiness, because you're focusing on things that you have rather than things that you don't. Because if you look on social media, you're looking at the Kardashians or other celebrities or these influencers that seem like they have everything, or maybe they do, whatever it is. It makes you look at your life and think, oh, well, I don't have that. I'm less than, aren't I? Because I don't have this huge house. I don't drive fancy, expensive cars. And it makes you feel shitty about yourself rather than if you don't look at that shit, you just focus on things that you do have. I love my Nissan Rogue. I used to have a big lifted truck that was the highest end that I could get, top of the line. I absolutely love my little Nissan. It is not top of the line. I don't even have leather seats in this. I had that in my previous vehicle, my lifted truck, and I love my little Nissan Rogue. I love it. It's very reliable. It's very good on gas. I focus on those things rather than looking at, oh, well, my lifted Chevy had so many other features. Well, I love my Nissan, and actually some things that I didn't have on my Chevy, I have on my Nissan, which is kind of funny. But focus on the things that you do have, the things that you're grateful for, and that's going to help boost your confidence and your happiness. Number 4 is brush your teeth twice daily. I also work at a dental office, and a family member of mine is a dentist, so I've heard this my entire life, where brush your teeth twice a day. It's just good for your oral hygiene. You want to be brushing twice a day and flossing at least once. Twice will be awesome. But if you can only floss once, you floss once. But make sure that you brush your teeth twice daily, because by doing this, you're going to keep better health and better oral hygiene so that you're potentially going to have less problems. The better that you take care of your oral hygiene and your mouth, potentially less problems that you're going to have down the road with your oral hygiene. And the less cavities you're going to have, meaning you have to get less work done and you don't have to fix anything when you don't have cavities. Number 5 is drink plenty of water. So there's also this like water challenge going around. I did this last year where I bought this pretty much gallon water bottle, not realizing it was 128 ounces. I misread it on Amazon and I thought it said 28, but this is why you double check everything, because I made a mistake, even though it was a wonderful mistake, because I was like, well, I'm not returning this now. I bought this. And I've heard of people doing this challenge anyways, where you literally drink a gallon of water and there's these lines on it. It's like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to like every hour you're supposed to drink a certain amount of water. And I literally died the first couple days. Like I was so bloated because my body wasn't used to all that water, but it was a wonderful choice for me to make. And I have fallen off that horse. I need to get back on it with drinking more water, but this is huge. Number 6 is limit your negative self-talk. So I've talked about this a lot with your inner critic, the comparison beast, the self-doubt, all those negative, terrible fucking things that just tear down your confidence and make you feel shitty about yourself. You need to battle that. The more that you battle it and you pretty much tell it to shut the fuck up, because I have told that to myself out loud and in my head, whether it was in public or not is irrelevant because sometimes people look at you weird. People have definitely looked at me weird because I've kind of talked to myself. Anyways, on another note, limiting your negative self-talk is going to help increase your confidence. So battle it. If you don't know what to say, just tell it to shut the fuck up. Be like, inner critic, shut the fuck up. I'm fine. I'm doing good. Something. Number 7 is meditate daily. And if you're going to try and come back and be like, Sam, I can't do this. There are literally probably millions, if not billions of different free YouTube videos all about meditation. I love going to YouTube for meditations. I'm not someone that can sit for more than 15 minutes because of my ADHD. I always shift. I don't really like to sit for that long when I'm meditating. I sit for long periods of time when I'm working, especially when I get into my zone and I sit for 3 hours and I work on something because I get hyper-focused. Another story, but you can do something as simple as a 5-minute meditation every single day. So don't tell me you can't do it, because 5 minutes out of 24 hours is nothing. Even an hour is 4% of your day. An hour workout is 4% of your day. So don't tell me that you can't take 5 minutes out of your day to meditate. It's so easy. Number 8 is tell others how you truly feel. This one would have saved my butt so many times. And I wish I knew this sooner than when I learned this even a couple years ago, because sometimes is when the truth hurts. Sometimes you need to tell people the fucking truth, and then it kind of gets them off your back. I've literally told my mom, I'm like, I'm not talking about this right now. I don't want to talk about this. We don't agree on this. I'm not going to fight with you. That's one example of many where I've told people how I feel. Or I was actually just having a conversation with my partner the other day and he told me some distressing news. And I said, okay, well, I don't know how I feel right now. I don't want to talk about this right now. I need to sit and collect my thoughts. Let's talk about this another time. And he said, okay. Rather than trying to talk it out when I'm not ready, because I said I wasn't ready to talk about it, I was telling him how I truly felt. And that's what's important, is embrace your voice, use your voice, and tell people how you really feel, rather than just trying to appease them and make them comfortable. Number 9 is have a morning and night routine. This is huge right now in the online space, especially in the self-care and the self-love industry niche. Having a morning and night routine is make or break it for your production for the day. And I'm not saying that every day has to be crazy productive and you have to get all the shit done on your to-do list. Being productive looks different for every single person every single day. I am currently recording my 3rd episode of today, which is awesome. But yesterday, I needed rest and I was still being productive in other parts of my life. I was doing a little bit of organizing. I was helping my mom move some stuff around because they're getting some renos done in the basement soon. So I was helping her and I was being productive in other ways, but then I was also relaxing or studying. Being productive looks different for every single person, and every single day looks different for every single person on what productive looks like in your personal and in your business or career life. Number 10 is go outside daily. Now, if you live up here in Canada like me, sometimes this is hard, especially during the winter when it's -40 or -50. And if you don't believe me, please don't come up here during the winter because I don't want you to subject yourself to that. I was born here and still live here. I don't know why I live here when my face hurts during the winter, but I do love Calgary. So going outside daily is very important. And since I have my rescue dog, he definitely gets me outside most days. It's just sometimes when it's, like I said, -40 or -50, I literally let him out to pee and his feet are freezing where we can't go outside and play. and I just let him out. So those times can be difficult, but you can also exercise daily, but inside on situations like that. Number 11 is maintain a hobby. There are so many different hobbies out there. Some are more expensive than others. If you know me, know anything about my story, and I've talked about this a few times, I love to crochet and knit. I love to read, write, paint, draw. I also find it great to be around lots of plants. So actually 2 or 3 days ago, I was repotting a bunch of my plants. I realized that they had outgrown their current pots and they were mostly roots, which meant that I had to repot them. And that's another hobby of mine is I love to garden and I love to be a plant mom. I have a million plants at my house and my mom isn't a fan of it, but I love it because it reduces the pollution in our house. Number 12 is clean up after yourself. This is really important immediately after, because although I love being very cleanly, organized, I love to declutter and clean, my ADHD definitely gets in the way some days where either I get distracted or I'm so tired after the day because my feet are so numb or just tired and all the blood is pooling in my legs from being on my feet all day that I just take my clothes off, I throw them on the floor, and I get into bed. But when I clean up after myself immediately, I instantly feel better and there's less of a mess to clean up later. Every time that I cook, I clean up immediately. I cannot handle a messy kitchen or a sink full of dirty dishes. I immediately like to clear off the island, the stovetop. And yes, I might put a couple dishes in the sink, but I don't like it to pile up. Number 13 is evaluate each month. Now, this is going to look different if you have your own business or if you're wanting to hit a certain goal in your career at work, or if there's something for school that you're like, hey, I have this paper that's due, or even something in your personal life where you have a personal goal. It's important to evaluate each month and make sure that you're doing the efforts that are needed in order to get to this goal, or at least get you closer to it, because there's each little baby step that gets you closer and closer and closer to your goal. Number 14 is be active for at least 30 minutes a day. Now, I used to be a certified personal trainer. If you know my background, I have a degree in kinesiology. And so I used to do one-on-one personal training sessions. I was also a gymnastics coach and a swimming coach for competitive, both speed swimming and synchronized swimming. And with gymnastics, I taught both at the recreational level and at the competitive level as well. Not only is it important for children to get at least 30 minutes a day of exercise, but for adults, we need even more. I believe it's more than 30 minutes a day. If you can do at least 45, wonderful. If you can do 60, awesome. I think having at least 45 minutes of exercise a day or being active is way better than 30. But if you can absolutely only get in 30 minutes, then get in 30 minutes. It's important to keep your metabolism up, and it's just good for your cardiovascular system, which is your heart, pumping the blood through your whole body. It's good for you. Number 15 is get rid of clutter. Now, I just talked about how I love to declutter, clean, organize, and also with my parents doing renovations here in the basement, we have a bunch of shit everywhere. However, my mom and I are going to do some inventory of some of the non-perishable foods that she stores in the cold room and other things that we can either donate, throw out, recycle to declutter, so that every time that any one of us goes in the cold room for something, we don't immediately feel stressed out and feel like we're just kind of behind in life because it's like, oh, I have all this shit. When you declutter, when you go through all your shit, kind of take inventory of it all and decide, I don't need this anymore, I don't want this, and you actually get rid of it, you feel so much better. Number 16 is don't use any screens before bed. And I know you probably have heard this so many times, especially with technology becoming so popular in the last 10 years, but it's true. I remember not growing up with technology. The fanciest thing I had growing up when I was little was a Leapfrog. And it's pretty much like a caveman iPad. If you don't actually know what a Leapfrog was, it was an interactive book where there was this electronic pen and you would open it and you could click on words and it would read to you. And I absolutely loved it. I definitely attribute that to my love of reading and writing, to having a Leapfrog when I was little. But I never had screens growing up, and I have obviously learned to have my phone with me all the time. Slowly, as I got my first cell phone, which was never an iPhone, it was a Motorola Razr. I am definitely dating myself on that. That was the most bitchin' first phone ever. But with iPhones and these Androids where social media is everything and we can't get off our phones. Every time I go on TikTok to watch a video, I get sucked in there for 2 hours or more, and it just sucks the life out of me. If you are absolutely attached to your phone, 30 minutes before you actually want to go to sleep, take your phone and put it on your nightstand or whatever. Make sure your alarms are set and don't touch your phone for 30 minutes before bed. If you can do it an hour before bed, even better. But if you can't do it for 30 minutes, just do that. And number 17 is read a book a month. Now, Rachel Peterson reads, I think she said 2 to 3 books a week, which is insane. I would love to be able to do that. I definitely do not have the motivation and the dedication to myself to read that much for self-development at this point. In the future, I will get there. I'm working on it. But if you read 1 book a month, listen to this for just a second. You will read 12 books a year. The average person reads 0 books a year. I'm pretty sure that's a statistic. But in the personal development era in the online space, I don't really know what the statistic is on the average of those people, but in general, of the general population, the average person reads 0 books a year. How many of my exes literally told me that they never read? They don't do anything. They play video games. They have their cell phone. They have never picked up a book after high school, or if they were in university or college for whatever program, they had to read their textbooks, but they've never read outside of school. So you can put yourself ahead of everyone else by reading at least 1 book a month, and that is totally feasible. A book that's 250 pages, you can do that in a month. Remember what I was talking about? Number 16, don't use any screens before bed. Well, use that 30 minutes and try to read. Even if you read for 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes before you go to bed, you will easily get through at least 1 book a month. It's that easy. So those are 17 healthy habits to start right now from missmental.com. I love these so much, and hell, this is even a reminder to myself for a couple extra things, like obviously drinking more water. Like, I'm working on it, but it's like, yes, I needed that reminder yet again to drink more water because it's important. So let me know what was your favorite aha moment, your favorite golden nugget of today's episode. Make sure to leave me a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, or leave me a comment on YouTube. Let me know what was your favorite part of today's episode. And until next time, I love you so much. I will see you there.